This episode is brought to you by Skintopia. Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia. I am your host and a wedding photographer at Lydia Rachel Photography. In today's episode, I'm chatting with Grace. She recently got married at a pretty new venue down in the Bay of Plenty. We chat through their love story, friends from a young age, and then getting together later on. How she didn't expect to be proposed to when she was, but had a few clues leading up to it. We talked through their values for their wedding day, what was the most important thing, and creating an amazing day for their guests and that represented them as a couple. Their guest list of 160 people and how they made that work with their budget. Planning a full wedding week or long weekend to keep the celebrations going. The amazing input of their family and friends. A little bit of stress Grace had right before the wedding with all that last minute admin. We talk about their favourite moments, things they decided to skip on, and not spending too much money on frivolous decorations or unnecessary things. We talk about married life now, and she gives some amazing advice on wedding planning and keeping your head in the right place throughout it. So lovely to chat to Grace, and I'd love to hear what you think of this episode, so make sure you jump over to Instagram, send me a DM, and check out some of Grace's wedding photos there too. Let's get into it. Enjoy episode 81 with Grace. Hi Grace, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. So excited to hear all about your wedding.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really exciting to kind of, reflect on such an awesome weekend and get to talk about it with people.
So good. So to get started with, if you could just tell me a bit about you and your partner, how you guys met and your life together.
Yeah, sure. So, I've been professional rugby for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, and just recently had to medically retire a few months ago with a brain injury, but I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm just not allowed to play rugby again. I'm not allowed to get any more concussions or hits to the head, but my life is like neurologically, my life is going to be sweet. So that's, I guess, the main thing that matters. So I'm currently in a bit of a transition phase, I guess, working out what my next steps are. I was fortunate enough to have finished my law degree before the Blackburns went full time. So I have been meaning to get into like the law space, which is what I'm trying to do at the moment. Also have a sports management agency that I'm kind of just dabbling with on the side, trying to represent and look after athletes from an athlete perspective. And yeah, that's about me. And then my partner, my now husband, which is I still doesn't really sound quite right. He is a rugby player as well, plays for the Chiefs and for Canterbury. Um, and we met. Well, it's quite a funny one actually. He was kind of always one of those people that I knew of but didn't know. When we were younger, we both played New Zealand touch and kind of saw him at tournaments and things like that, and became like social media friends. But at such young, I think we must have been like 13 or 14. We'd never spoken, never, anything like that. But like I knew who he was and he knew who I was kind of the way it worked, until we both went down to Canterbury for university. And then, yeah, we had other partners at the time, and he was literally just my best friend, just someone that I could rely on for everything. And then, gosh, 5, 6 years down the track, and yeah, um, never thought I'd fall in love with my best friend, but I did. And yeah, and then here we are today, getting married, and I guess going through life together.
Oh, so good. It's always so interesting to hear about those like long backstories, even right to like childhood teenager and then from friends to lovers, I guess. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Such a cool story. So you were together for a while and then got engaged. Can you tell us a bit about the proposal story?
yeah. I think. I guess for some people, like for me, I would have thought 4 years is quite soon to get engaged. Like I wasn't prepared or ready for it. I was like, very shocked. But I guess because we'd been best friends for so long, that we didn't have really that honeymoon phase, and we didn't have to work each other out and stuff. Like, we knew exactly what we were getting. We knew each other's deepest, darkest secrets. So yeah, 4 years. And then how it came about was actually one day, one of our friends had got engaged, and we kind of were just like chatting about it, and he was like, how do I even know what kind of ring to get you, like, if and when I do want to propose? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm not that kind of girl that has rings saved on Instagram and things like that. But it kind of got me thinking. I was like, oh, I should probably know, because, I'd hate for him to get something that's, not what I would like. So one of my really good friends was off to get her wedding band done, just before their wedding, and I was like, "Oh, should I come with you and just like try on some rings and see what I like," kind of thing. So pretty much I knew that I liked a gold band and a oval diamond. That was pretty much it. But never did I think. So without knowing, she had relayed this to Ramika, and I never ever thought, like, yeah, we'd like obviously spoken about it, like, what would you like, kind of thing. But I was like, this is going to be years and years down the track. We've had friends that have been together for 10 years and still aren't engaged. So I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. And then so yeah, it turns out that behind my back, that he'd gone with Eve, our friend, to the place, and designed a wedding ring, or an engagement ring. And yeah, the story is quite funny around the proposal. So we were driving back up from Christchurch to Wellington. That's where my family live, and we were staying in the Kapiti Coast for a wee while, which is where mum and dad are. And Eve, my friend who Rum had worked out with the engagement ring, she said, "Hey, look, I've got some photo shoots up around the Kapiti Coast area next week." And she knew I was going home. She said, "Is it all right if me and Nani come and stay?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Didn't flutter an eyelid or anything like that. Um, and about a month prior to this as well, she'd also mentioned that when when she is with me, staying with us, like, she does a bit of content creation, and she does a bit for Pamu jewelry, and she said, um, would you be able to, like, can I take some photos of you on the beach? Because Pamu jewelry, that's the requirement for this shoot that she had to do. And honestly, I've done that many things for her that that wasn't abnormal. And anyway, so she dressed me up, she did all my makeup and hair and everything. The boys dressed up because we were like, well, since I have to dress up, we might as well all dress up and go out for a really nice formal dinner after. So we're at the beach taking photos, and she's just doing close-ups of the rings and the earrings and things like that. And then there was a shot where I was standing looking up out at Kapiti Island, which is like my childhood, so it's such an awesome place. But looking out, and they were all behind me. And at that point, I was like a little bit sus. I was like, "What's going on?" And everyone was really quiet, and I was like, "What the heck?" And it like took quite a while, and I was like, "What?" So I just turned around, and there he was, like on one knee. And yeah, I think it was such a blur. I don't exactly what he remember what he said to me. There was something like grossly stymied. It's like, you're my best friend. Will you marry me through the dark days and the good days? And I don't know, something along those lines. But the only reason I think I had this kind of little sense that something might happen was because the day before, I never got my nails done because I'm a rugby player. But she was like, "Oh, because we were going to Thailand the following week." She's like, "Why don't you get your nails done before you go to Thailand?" And I had asked her the week before this. I said, "Oh, can I get my nails done with your beautician before I go to Thailand?" She's like, "Oh no, like, just do it over there. It's so cheap." So I was like, "Okay." And then this day before the engagement, she's like, "Oh no, like, you should get your nails done. I've got an appointment for me, and I don't want to go. I was just going to cancel it." And I was like, "No, no, it's all good. Just cancel it. Like, we've got friends here." And she kind of keep nagging, like it just seemed like, and I was like, I don't want to question too much. I was like, fine, I'll go get my nails done. But that was the point like, she hates it to this day, but that was my only little, like,
Mm.
into the situation. So yeah, that was how it went.
Oh, so special. Such a cool story and like a memorable place for you. Love that. And
Yeah.
had you kind of like, so you weren't necessarily expecting to get engaged then. Had you thought about a wedding at all, what that would look like? Did you have any kind of vision in mind? And yeah, what were those first steps, finding a venue, all of that?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely nothing. Like when he, remember when we got home after the engagement and we had, my parents were waiting at this restaurant for us and had bubbles and all that. And I literally said to Rum, I was like, okay, so the fact that you've proposed, is that meaning that you're like wanting to get married like sometime soon, or is this like a later job? Like what, you know? And so at that point we were like really both tied up with rugby, and to be fair, I didn't get onto any sort of organizing. I was like, this isn't, this is probably going to be down the track because I guess our schedules with the rugby are so uncertain. And it wasn't until we were home with his family who live in Pukahina, in Tauranga, and that his mum mentioned about this really awesome venue in Papamoa, which is where Ramika grew up. And she goes, "Oh, have you heard about this venue? And it's a BYO. You can, supply all your own alcohol. You can bring food trucks. You get the venue for 4 days. It's got a house. Like it was, we knew that if we were going to get a venue, that we wanted to make it a bit of a DIY kind of thing. But we didn't look into it. And as soon as she said that, we're like, oh, we'll go and check it out. So we went and checked it out, and we were just like sold. And literally the first time we saw it, we were like, she was like, doing a book and a date. We were like 6th of December 2024, which was a year later. So we got engaged in November 2023. Yeah, I've got my dates right. And so from that point, once we locked in a date, I was like, shit, like now this starts. And I guess, yeah, I think for me, it's quite funny to look back on because I think such a typical way of like, I organized everything. I did everything. It was pretty much my wedding, and Ramika was just attending it. But also like I'm not like a micromanager kind of person, and I would have loved for him to have more, he helped where he could have, but I guess it was just, I guess, part of the job sometimes that you've just got to do it. And so the way I kind of started was just nutting out the big things around, catering and DJs and alcohol and all the big things that you kind of had to book in. But yeah, we ended up having a few hiccups down the road and had three of them pull out. So we had some last minute ring-ins, which ended up being like amazing. So definitely a big believer in everything happens for a reason. But yeah, the process was I mean, some girls love it, I guess, but for me, like, I was like, "Oh, this is tedious." Like, I just was looking forward to the day of just being able to live it out, but the actual part of planning it. And I mean, obviously, I understand that lots of people get a wedding planner, and I mean, if I had all the money in the world, I probably would have as well, but it was something that we weren't willing to kind of fork out. We were more our biggest with organizing the weekend, it was food, alcohol, music, like the biggest thing to us with a wedding is our friends and our family and our people there, and how can we make it a special day and enjoyable for them. And to us, that didn't mean our table was looking really fancy and things like that, because no one remembers that, no one cares. It's a waste of money. Well, that's just my opinion or our opinion. So we put our money into the areas that mattered the most to us. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so good.